And there we go. Race 1 is underway as the machines roar and scream through the starting chute. Oh, Womax are out! Oh, they're airborne! There's contact! World Championship leaders and winners! 2014 was a historic year for powerboat racing as two of the biggest, fastest powerboat series in the world joined forces. The Class 1 catamarans and the V1 monohulls competing in a tandem racing format for the first ever UIM C1V1 World Powerboat Championship. Combining these two Goliaths of the sport was a bold and innovative move on the part of H2O Racing and the UIM that would pave the way for a more exciting and sustainable powerboat championship. The season once again hit some of the most spectacular venues in the world. Kicking off with the Mediterranean Grand Prix in Ibiza, Spain, then heading over to stunning Terracina, before culminating in the United Arab Emirates, where the C1 and V1 World Championship was decided to the dazzling backdrop of Abu Dhabi. Now let's take a look back at this historic first season. The stunning Spanish island of Ibiza, the wildest, most popular party destination in the world. Ibiza hosts some of the most amazing events imaginable, featuring the world's top bands and DJs on this non-stop party island. There was simply no better location to experience the thunderous roar of 5-ton powerboats rocketing across the surface of the sea at over 200 kilometers per hour. This is where unabashed hedonism meets raw power. Boats lined up for the Mediterranean Grand Prix, with 6 boats competing in Class 1. If there was one man in Class 1 that everyone wanted to beat, it was last year's Class 1 champion in Victory 3, Arif Al-Zafin. He was back to defend his team's dominance, rejoined by his former throttle man Nadir bin Hendi, who returned to Class 1 after a 2-year absence, as the two sought a record 14th world title for the Dubai-based Victory outfit. Hoping to take the race to victory in 2014 was number 91 Relekta Szabo Shklar, with Uda Shuk at the wheel and Christian Zaborowski on throttle. They were world runners-up in 2013, just 1 point ahead of Fendi Racing 10, of Luca Formili Fendi and Giovanni Carpetella, who were also back in 2014 and are aiming at nothing less than domination. In the second Fendi outfit, Fendi 8 Polymersan, Tarek Akdam came in to drive beside English throttle man Miles Jennings, who was hoping to repeat his surprise win in Terracina last year, which earned him the 2013 European title. Team Abu Dhabi were back too, with a brand new American MTI-built boat, as driver Faleh Al-Mansouri joined forces with throttle man Rashid Al-Tayer. After missing last year's championship, legendary 10-time F1 champion Guido Cappellini was back at the helm of 74 New Star Polyform, joined in the cockpit by rookie Russian throttle man Mikhail Kitashev. Racing alongside the Class 1 boats are 7 V1 teams. There were a couple of boat-building company owners racing their own creations, namely number 4 Bernico New Star, piloted by the owner of the company, Nico Bertels, and experienced throttle man, Frank Hemelair. Also number 55 Chaudron, crewed by Aaron Chiantar, whose family owns Chaudron Boats, with Frenchman Dominique Martini from Corsica by his side as throttle man. A potential dark horse to look out for was the all-British team of Ian Blacker and Drew Langdon in number 47 Silverline Bullet Offshore Racing. Joining them in the championship was the Italian Evolution and Supersport champion pairing of Maurizio Scapici and Stefano Bonanno in number 60 Tommy 1. Number 81 Carol Pugh featured the father and son pairing of Antonio and Giuseppe Schiano. In number 66 Hercules Sagaman, it was C-Rex team owner-drivers Siegfried Greve and Udo Gross. And rounding out the field was number 26 Aquasport with Daniel Cramphorn and Nico Huygens. In Class 1 qualifying, for the first time ever, there would be two boats starting in pole position after Fendi 10 and Victory incredibly posted identical times in qualifying for Race 1. The tandem course in Playa d'Embosa Bay featured 4 corners, including a tight left-hander at the south end of the beach, with the Class 1 boats racing the outside circuit and the V-hulls on the inside. In V1, pole position went to Carol Pugh ahead of Tommy 1 and Bernico Newstar. The boats lined up, waiting for the green flag in this historic first ever C1 V1 race. Victory made a great start, taking the lead early in the race. Fendi 10 dropped back but maintained second position until they hit trouble in lap 9 and were out with a busted gearbox. From third place at the end of lap 1, New Star Polyform held off an initial challenge from Relecta Szabo Uşıklar to take second spot following the exit of Fendi 10. Victory were comfortable winners by a 49-second margin. Behind them, Polyform runners-up, and Team Abu Dhabi made a move on the inside to overtake Szabo Uşıklar, but they hit a buoy and were disqualified. Relecta Szabo Uşıklar finished third. In the V1, Chaudron shot up from fourth on the starting grid to grab the lead right at the start, with Carol Pugh chasing. The performance of the day came from Tommy 1, as Scapici and Bonanno powered their way through the field, first passing Bernico Newstar, then overhauling Chaudron, before locking horns with Carol Pugh, whom they beat for the Race 1 win.
We have fight for all the race, and I think we have made the best that we can do now.
So Victory kicks the season off with a win. Race 2, Fendi 10 unable to start because of their broken gearbox in Race 1. Victory start in pole after morning qualifying. In V1 qualifying, Tommy 1 nabs pole ahead of Carol Pugh and number 66 in third. Conditions were choppy and the race was on. There was drama right from the get-go as Team Abu Dhabi in second position behind pole sitters Victory hooked and overturned their new MTI boat. Both drivers were unharmed and got out immediately with the help of the Bergamo Scuba Angels. With Fendi 8 limping home before the restart, that left the course clear for Victory to race away for another comfortable win. Relecta Szabo Uşıklar putting in a solid performance to take second place, and another podium also for New Star Polyform in third. In the V-hulls, Chaudron had a strong lead after the start. Behind them, Carol Pugh fought off Aquasport and Tommy 1 in the battle for second place. But they were unable to catch Chaudron. Silverline went from 6th place in lap 2 to overhaul Bernico Newstar, then Aquasport, and then Tommy 1 to take the third step of the podium behind Carol Pugh and Race 2 winners Chaudron. At the end of round 1, just 5 points separated Chaudron, Carol Pugh, and Tommy 1. In Class 1, Victory continued where they left off, dominating the standings, 13 points clear of New Star Polyform and Relecta Szabo Uşıklar. Round 2 would once again be raced on the Mediterranean as the season continued in gorgeous Terracina, Italy, a splendid seaside town in the heart of Lazio. It's a city with a rich history that dates back more than 1,000 years. Terracina is intimately connected with the sea, where fishing is a way of life, and the area is famous for its seafood. With the Temple of Jupiter towering above, local fans got to see these behemoths close up in the traditional boat parade. The Terracina course is an open sea circuit with tricky conditions. The Class 1 boats must take one long lap in Race 1 and two in Race 2, while the V1s start on the long lap track and then switch to the inside. All eyes were on the local heroes, Fendi 10. Fendi 10 were looking forward to the long offshore circuit that may give them an advantage over Victory.
I think the Victory team builder, he don't have problem regarding flat water or rough water. I'm coming here to win, and this is our goal.
New lineup for Team Abu Dhabi as former Class 1 world champion John Tomlinson returned as throttle man in the repaired MTI boat alongside Class 1 newcomer and fellow American Gary Ballo. Fendi 8 also had a shakeup as Alfredo Amato replaced Tadek Gökdam to reprise his European Championship winning partnership with Miles Jennings. The crowds gathered. The show was about to get underway. Starting lineups, Victory beat Fendi 10 to take pole position in Class 1, while in the V1s, Chaudron would lead ahead of Aquasport and Silverline. Race 1 was underway. Victory pulled away comfortably right from the start. Bernico Newstar came up from 4th to lead the V-Hulls on lap 1, and behind them drama as Tommy 1 spun out on the first corner, taking Carl Pugh out with them. They were both unhurt, but unable to continue. Chaudron also ended up limping home with a broken turbocharger. Hercules Sagaman also out with a broken prop. On the restart, Victory led early, pulling well clear of the field, with Fendi 10 in second. Behind them, a battle for third between Relecta Zabo Shiklar and Team Abu Dhabi, with Team Abu Dhabi overhauling the Norwegian-Turkish duo. Fendi 10 finished the race runners-up behind Victory as Alzafina bin Hendi claimed Victory's 8th European title. Also a podium third-place finish for Tomlinson and Ballo on their first outing. In the V1, it was a brilliant three-way tussle as Aquasport led from the restart before being overhauled by Bernico Newstar on lap 3 and then by Silverline in lap 4. Silverline poured on the pressure, passing Bernico Newstar in lap 5. But Bernico Newstar reclaimed the lead 2 laps later, winning race 1. Silverline runner-up, Aquasport third.
We constantly had to look, then it was Nico, then it was Silverline, you know, they all kept pushing us very hard. And even, you know, when you push yourself hard, you push the boat hard, you know, you do get little edgy moments and start taking risks, and, you know, but if you cross the finish line being first, it all pays off.
Race 2 starting grid, great qualifying result for Aquasport with pole ahead of Chaudron and Silverline. And in the Class 1, Victory again had pole ahead of Fendi 10 and Team Abu Dhabi.
We are certainly going to push it to the max because we want to maintain our second position in the European Championship. So we need some points to secure it well.
We've got the outside edge, so we're going to try and steal a march on the outside, cut across and kick some ass.
Victory and Fendi 10 delivered a sensational opening lap, with Fendi and Carpatella stealing the advantage from the pole sitters immediately and leading them to the first turn, then holding them off in a nail-biting run to the start-finish line. The two closed on each other just inches apart at over 150 miles per hour as they hurtled down that long straightaway. Fendi 10 came out in front, taking the lead. From that point, Fendi 10 were able to maintain the upper hand, the gap between them fluctuating as they took their long laps. In lap 7, the defending world champions Victory suddenly slowed to a crawl, limping round for 2 laps before retiring with a broken drop box. There was a cracking battle for second place between Relekta Szabo-Shiklar and Team Abu Dhabi. Zaborowski and Ishik passed Abu Dhabi in lap 3 before Abu Dhabi reclaimed second position on lap 7. But Abu Dhabi ran out of fuel on the final lap, moving Relekta Szabo-Shiklar into second. But they had no chance of catching Fendi 10 as Luca Formuli Fendi and Giovanni Carpitella nabbed their first race win together in home waters in front of their adoring Italian fans.
We pushed like crazy for the way down, and we arrived with one boat in the front, and we decided to not move the throttle. We go in on the first turn of the full speed, so that was a good idea.
My first win in Class 1 ever. I couldn't ask best present in my life, 2014.
Fendi 10 race 2 winners, Relekta Szabo-Shiklar runners-up, and a third podium in a row for New Star Polyform. In the V1, Aquasport led from the start after an early tussle with Chaudron in second. Aquasport continued to open their lead. Running in third was Silverline, but a spin-out cost them dearly. Tommy 1 came up from the back to move into third. Carol Pugh locked horns with Bernico New Star, finally clinching fourth. Great result for Aquasport, but it was Chaudron who got the points they needed to take the European Championship. Tommy 1 finished the race in third.
And it's the first time in a boat together, but now we've done 4 races together, we've done 4 qualifyings, and we're a team.
V1 European champions Chaudron, Aquasport second, Bernico New Star third.
We lead the World Championship and we won the European Championship, so we are very happy.
In the Class 1, Victory get an 8th European title. Relekta Szabo-Shiklar runners-up and Fendi 10 third. But the big heroes of the weekend, race 2 winners Fendi and Carpitella. The local crowd couldn't get enough. The capital of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi is a glittering, towering success story in the Middle East. This oil-rich sheikhdom has emerged as one of the fastest growing and wealthiest cities in the world. The 2014 Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi will be raced amid the UAE's 43rd National Day celebrations, bringing a festival atmosphere to this year-end event. The world title in both categories would be decided off the Abu Dhabi Corniche. 13 boats were in the running, led by defending world champions Victory, as Arif Al Zafin and Nadir Bin Hendi had a 14-point cushion. They were the clear favorites, but there were still 40 points up for grabs. In the V1, it was a very tight affair, with literally every team having a shot at the world title, although Chaudron had a slender single-point advantage. But could they defend that against the rest of the field? The biggest factor here would be the circuit itself, an equal parts inshore-offshore course that would run around Lulu Island for the first time, with rough conditions expected on the outside, a tough proposition for picking the right setup. But high winds and rough seas were deemed too dangerous for the first day's qualifying and racing, and the circuit was moved inside the breakwater. Victory threw down the gauntlet, claiming the pole position championship for 2014 by winning yet another qualifying. In the V1, Chaudron mirrored Victory by taking the pole position title for the year and claiming prime spot on the starting grid, with Silverline and Carol Pugh in second and third.
if you're not in the top three, I'd rather be on the outside. We'll be against the V-bottoms. The V-bottoms could be quick, of course, in the rough going out, so it could be quite interesting on that first turn. It's going to be very, very busy on that first turn.
Tensions were high for race 1. The World Championship could be decided here.
Green flag, green flag.
The race was underway. Victory immediately took the lead on that incredibly rough start chute as Fendi 10's engines shut down and they dropped back. Fendi 8 made an incredible run from the back to pip New Star Polyform and move into second position right off the bat. But their run ended quickly with a busted escape hatch, moving New Star Polyform into second. They continued to fall back, being passed by Relecta Szabo Shklar and then Team Abu Dhabi. Victory were immaculate, opening a 35-second lead by mid-race. Trouble for New Star Polyform in lap 6, a broken water pump belt ending their race. Relecta Szabo Shklar moved into second ahead of Team Abu Dhabi in third. Victory wins! They extend their lead to 19 points in the world standings, meaning they just had to finish race 2 to claim a 14th world title. In the V1 race, Chaudron were as dominant as Victory were in Class 1, as Chiantar and Martini used their pole advantage to move ahead and hold their lead throughout the race. Hercules Sagaman started off well in third and then second, followed by Silverline. Behind them, Vandyshev and Panushkin and Bernico Newstar overcame a last place start to quickly move up the field, overhauling a series of boats, including Aquasport. Silverline and Hercules Sagaman both experienced problems as they dropped back, and Bernico Newstar passed Tommy 1 to claim runner-up spot behind Chaudron. Tommy 1 finishing third. That win opened a crucial 12-point lead for Chaudron in the V1 standings going into the last race. Race 2, the final race of the year. The conditions were much calmer than the day before, which meant the full original circuit would be run outside the breakwater. Victory once again claimed Race 2 qualifying ahead of Team Abu Dhabi and Fendi 10, with Aquasport taking pole in the V1s ahead of Chaudron and Bernico Newstar. On the start straight to the first turn, it was a tense drag race between Victory and Fendi 10. But Victory managed to get in there first as Fendi 10 went wide and Victory opened its lead from there on. Team Abu Dhabi were giving hard chase to Fendi 10 in the fight for second. Relecta Szabo Shklar slowed down and retired in lap 2, effectively ending their slim chance at a world title. Trouble also for Fendi 8 as Jennings and Amato ended a disappointing season. With Victory in the lead, Team Abu Dhabi kept trying to press on second place Fendi 10, with the Italians desperately holding off the American duo. At the end of lap 9 and going into the final turn, Team Abu Dhabi came alongside Fendi 10, both outfits going into the turn side by side. Team Abu Dhabi emerging in front, throwing Fendi 10 off course with a deft maneuver and then running out the final lap to claim second spot. Victory claimed their 14th World Championship as Arif Al-Zafin equaled Steve Curtis's record of 42 Grand Prix wins while earning himself a record 7th world title. Great result also for Team Abu Dhabi getting second place in their hometown. In the V1, it was drama throughout as Chaudron led early, with a race-long battle unfolding behind them between Carol Pugh, Aquasport, and Tommy 1. Bernico Newstar were fast and pushing hard on the leaders, Chaudron. You can see just how rough the conditions are out there. Aquasport got in an exciting fight with Tommy 1. Aquasport overhauls Tommy 1 and sets its sights on Carol Pugh. Chaudron seemed to be slowing, and here comes Bernico Newstar flying up the inside to take the V1 lead in lap 5. Chaudron continued limping around the course to make sure they finished the race to get the points they needed. Aquasport also in trouble trying to make it to the finish line. Bernico Newstar took the race with Carol Pugh second and Tommy 1 third.
We knew
showdown was fast, and we had to take every single meter and every single second, every single corner had to be perfect to be able to beat them.
All Chaudron needed was a 4th place finish. Aaron Kantar and Dominique Martini were the V1 World Champions.
On the last lap, we broke an engine. We go slowly to the gate. So finally, we win the championship.
Victory's win in Abu Dhabi seals another World Championship for them, with Relekta Szabo Shklar getting a runner-up finish and Fendi 10 world number 3.
Well, it's an honor to be with my partner Arif. It's a great, nice experience. We always go to the maximum. We had a nice setup, nice race. It was beautiful. To win in Abu Dhabi, it's excellent. We're so happy.
That concludes another incredible year of racing in the first ever UIM C1V1 World Powerboat Championship. See you in 2015. And there we go. Race 1 is underway as the machines roar and scream through the starting chute. Go, Womax are out!